Hello, DigiFam. It is Prodigious. As promised, I'm bringing back another old school type of thing on my channel, which is deck profiles. Yeah, I haven't done those in a while. As you know, I am also doing a Digital Gate tournament on my channel, but we're taking a small break from that because I've been busy with work. Plus, right now we're on the cusp of some very brand new cards coming out from AD01. Which comes with a bunch of reprints, but it also comes with some new cards to power up some other decks. And here's going to be number 2 right now of one of those decks. Now, this is actually the first deck I started playtesting the new cards with. And man, let me tell you, it was a headache to try and figure out the pattern for this because it is completely different compared to how I first did my deck profile for it. But this is going to be the new MagnaGarurumon AD01 or 2.0 of MagnaGarurumon, as I might call it. So let's get into it and see what we got. Alright, so if any of y'all out there who've been watching my channel remembers my original deck profile for this type of deck back when it came out in BT18, I forgoed the typical way of playing this type of deck, and I went in favor of running, say, like Demi-Merrimon as my egg. I ran the BT17 version of Flamemon as a quick thing that can evo on that egg and a quick on play to do some digging for a hybrid or 10 Warriors trait plus a Tamer. And I also ran the cheeky little hot take of, I think it was Susanoomon from back in the Bagra army because it had purple and black, which gave me access to the colors I wanted to see ASAP so we could really abuse the lovely tricolor option cards so we can go into our level 6 super fast with any Tamer. But now, with the new triple color Tamer, along with the new level 5, this deck does not need that anymore. So, we're going to quickly go over the new Tamer, the new cards first. So we're going to have JP and Koji and Koichi, pardon me. Comes out of security like normal. Start your main phase and on play. You may place up to 2 hybrid trait cards with different colors from your hand or trash under this Tamer. If this effect placed, draw 1 card. Then, if there are 4 or more hybrid trait cards under this Tamer, gain 2 memory. Also, as an inheritable, this has when this Digimon with hybrid or 10 Warriors trait would leave the battle area, by adding your top security card to your hand, it doesn't leave. Alright. Now, the other new card we're running at max is going to be the new Beowolfmon. This guy takes the level 5s that we were running before and just combines them and makes them into a nice, sweet package. Before, we were running like the level 5 Beetle and the level 5 Dark Lion Leo thing. Now we just run this and, of course, a Jet Selfiemon because it's limit 1 per deck anyway. So what this guy does is he can evo on top of a yellow level 4 for 3, or a Koji with at least 2 or more hybrid trait cards under it, also for 3. It has jamming. Then it has when digivolving plus when attacking. You can have an opponent's Digimon lose minus 4,000 DP for the turn. Then it has end of attack on deletion. You may play 1 yellow, black, or purple Tamer card with inherited effects from your hand or trash without paying the cost. Then, by placing 1 hybrid or 10 Warriors trait card from your hand under this Digimon or one of your Tamers, you draw 2. So, opposite of the Aldemon, Aldemon has you pitch a card before you can play anything and draw 2. This is automatically letting you play but it is asking you for you to tuck something in order to draw 2. And then last but not least, we have a when attacking inheritable of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 4,000 DP for the turn. And notice how that's not once per turn, which is great because this deck loves to have turns where it can do multiple swings. Alright, so what have we changed? It's mainly the bottom end. Now, I'm currently running Upamon, the classic egg that just says when attacking, if your opponent has a Digimon with no Digivolution cards, trigger, draw 1. You are free to use whatever egg you want. I just insist that you find something that gives you card draw, because you're going to want all that card draw. Then I'm running 4 copies of Strabimon here. This is the BT6 one. 4 cost to play, has no effect on it by itself, but it does have the inheritable of when attacking once per turn, if this Digimon has hybrid or twin warriors in its form or type, gain 1 memory. Alright, then we're also running 3 copies of the BT7 Strabimon. Has on play, reveal top 4, add 1 card with hybrid, Susanoomon, or Koji among them to your hand. So you're only grabbing one thing with this, but you'll be able to grab anything of those. Inheritable is on deletion, you can play 1 Koji from your hand without paying its memory cost. Next, we're running 4 copies of the BT17 Strabimon. I think in previous builds, people were trying to use this with a blue or yellow egg. I could not bridge the gap with it. It just didn't feel right. It felt like it was too slow. But now that we have a Tamer that's tricolors, it fixes that. Not by a whole lot, but it fixes it. So this is going to be our typical searcher. This is probably the best one out of the bunch because it's going to allow you to grab a hybrid or twin warriors card and at least 1 Tamer. Now, its inheritable is not the best. You need to be careful when you're choosing to use this effect. But it's when attacking, you may play 1 Tamer card with inherited effects from your hand with the play cost reduced by 2. A majority of our Tamers are 5 cost. So this is only going to make it go down by 2 and become a 3 cost. So keep that in mind. Alright, so now to bridge that gap like we had before, to try and go from one of these Strabimon to a Digimon, we are now running 3 copies of MagnaGarurumon. Now I wish there was a version sort of like the Aldamon, or not Aldamon, like the Agunimon for the Emperor Greymon deck that had the option of being able to tuck something or go ahead and draw and then still Evo when it swung, but we don't, so we have to go ahead and resort to this one. So it's the MagnaGarurumon, no Lobomon for the human form. I tried running the Lobomon human form one that says when you Evo, you get to look at your security, pick a card that's hybrid or 10 warriors, and if you do, you get to recover 1. That is nice, but this is so much more better because it's going to allow you to go ahead and get a card draw when you swing, and you're going to be able to Digivolve when you swing, preferably into one of your level 5s. Alright, so now, just like the last video, it's going to be pretty much the same. It's going to have 3 of the human form of Beowolfmon here, 3 of the human form for the Loemon, and then only 2 copies of the beast forms for Metal Kabutari and 2 of Kaiser Leo. I hated cutting those down to only 2 each because they do come up in terms of some good situations of where it's good to just throw down a blocker to Digivolve or somebody that can pop a body and have retaliation, but we had to make some cuts. Alright, now I've already gone over Beowolfmon. We run him at 4. Run 1 copy of Jet Sylphie. This is the one from BT7. It's limit to 1 per deck. When you Evo on top of it, if you have a Tamer in its sources, you reduce the cost by 2. So this can be just an Evo cost for 1. And then when Digivolving, you get to recover 1. It may not look it, but this deck has some shenanigans where it can do some recovery. And speaking of which, I'm running 4 copies of MagnaGarurumon from BT18. One of them is the alt art. So what does this guy do? Alright, he has when Digivolving and end of the opponent's turn, once per turn, by placing one Digimon card from this Digimon's Digivolution card as the bottom security card. Delete all of your opponent's Digimon with the same level as the place card. I've had games where I purposely go ahead and go into a level 6 on top of one of my Tamers, and I've have maybe 1, maybe 2 of my extra level 6s tucked in just because I know my opponent has a level 6. When I Evo into this, I go ahead and tuck my other level 6 into my security just so I can pop their level 6. It also has the all turns once per turn effect of when Digimon attack, so when anything attacks basically, by adding your top security card to your hand, this Digimon unsuspends, so he can be a multi-swing attacker. And then last but not least, I did try running at 3. In the end, I've cut it down to 2. You may not always see this, but when you do, it'll feel great. And that is the MagnaGarurumon promo. So what this one is, it's only 2 color. It can Digivolve from a blue or yellow level 5 for 4, or preferably the 3 color MagnaGarurumon for 2. It has Armor Purge. On top of that, it has when Digivolving, return one of your opponent's level 3, one of their level 4s, and one of their level 5s to the hand. So just instant bounce. It can bounce everything except for a 6. End of attack. By placing this Digimon's top stack card as the top security card, this Digimon or Tamer unsuspends. Don't know why it's worded that way, but yeah. So what you do is you go into MagnaGaruru, you tuck a level 6, you pop, and then if you have the memory without passing turn, you go ahead and Evo into this, swing, you tuck another card, which is the level 6 armor form, into your security. Then you can swing with your regular MagnaGarurumon, add a card back from security back to your hand, and then unsuspend so you can swing again, or keep yourself as a blocker. Now, another hot take. Just like in my previous video, I'm running one of each of both Susanoomon from BT7 and Susanoomon Ace, because there's been so many glitch games in my playtesting where I was able to actually rather keep myself from decking out by just using Susanoomon from BT7, tucking a bunch of stuff from my hand and trash of the hybrids back to the bottom of my deck, keep me alive, pop something, or do a surprise ace play. And since we're running both aces, or not both aces, both Susanoomons, I am running at least 1 copy of the Susanoomon option card, Lord of Devastation and Rebirth. Because again, I've also had scenarios of where it's late game, I'm close to finishing it out, and I go ahead and have not only a body already out there, or I just have a bunch of Tamers 1 with sources underneath them. I go ahead and just go like, screw it, I'm going to go ahead and play this, use Lord of Devastation, I turn a Tamer into a Digimon, and it works better with Susanoomon Ace, because that means if you actually tuck a bunch of your additional extra Tamers, and you manage to swing with Susanoomon Ace, you're going to be able to tuck those Tamers in your sources back to your security, and for each one you get to just automatically trash the opponent's security. So, super fun, super crazy, super wild. Will it come out all the time? No, it's going to be very niche. But when it does come up, it's so fun to do it. If nothing else, at least this option card counts as a 10 Warriors card, so you can grab it and get your other things going. And security effect is like all the other good stuff of where you want to be able to get back a Tamer from hand or trash onto the field. So if you want to make a change to this deck, that's one that you can definitely do. But I would recommend trying it for a few games and seeing how it goes for you, because you will draw a lot of cards with this deck. You will be close to decking yourself out. So, yeah. Alright, we've already gone over the new triple colored Tamer. I'm also running 3 copies of Takuya and Koji from BT18. It's our memory fixer. I initially was running at 2. I didn't like how it felt towards the end, so I bumped it up to 3. If you want to change that, you can. And the same thing here. These are also optional. You could run more or less of these cards or take them out completely. But I am running at least 1 copy of JP and 1 of Koichi, because between the 2 of them, if you're going to drop one for the other, drop the Koichi and put in another JP, because it's going to help you with your whole pitching a hybrid to draw a card, because you need to see a bunch of cards so this deck can function. But that doesn't mean that Koichi's no slouch, because he actually does have a pretty good inheritable of when attacking, you can return a hybrid or 10 Warriors trait card from your trash to your hand. So, I mean, you might grab back your triple colored option card to let you go into your guy, or that Susanoomon play I mentioned. So it can come up. Last but not least, I'm running at least 3 copies of the Dark to Light and Thunder to Gunfire. It allows us to go ahead and bridge that gap so we can go into our level 6s. But yeah, this deck has been a labor of love. I know it's not going to be tier 1, but it is so fun to play it like the anime. Same thing with the Emperor Greymon. And it can do a bit better now thanks to these new cards. You wouldn't think just 2 simple new cards would make that much of a difference, but they do. Anyway, so that has been the deck profile. And this has been Prodigious. I hope you are enjoying this kind of content. I'm going to try and do a couple more occasional deck profiles. But otherwise, I am mainly working, well, when I'm not actually at work, I'm working on the Digital Gate tournament. And I hope you're enjoying that kind of content. But this has been Prodigious, and I hope to see you at the gate.